The Rangers started off this series in Canada with a win and maybe, just maybe, the best leadoff at bat I've ever seen.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Paddock, a criminally addicted Texas Rangers fan, covering this team for 13 seasons, including all 8 as a founder and host of this podcast. Thank you so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Not right, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Paddock. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're talking about a great win to start off this series, one of my favorite plate appearances to start a game, and MacKenzie Gore might not have been his sharpest game, but might have been my most favorite and the most encouraging start I've seen from him as a Texas Ranger. We're talking about all that and more. Before we get into all that, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The biggest stage in world soccer is here. Let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started now. Now, the Rangers offense was working in this one, scoring 6 runs, and leading off this game was Joc Pederson, as he often does. But this is why you have Joc Pederson in the leadoff spot. This at-bat to start this game was truly a bit of majesty. 11 pitches he saw. He starts off, he sees ball 1, then he fouls off ball, then he takes a called second strike, and then this dude just straight up goes to work, fouls off 4 straight pitches, sees another ball, fouls off 2 more pitches, 2 very good pitches, including the 10th pitch of the at-bat that I'm sure Kevin Gausman thought, surely I just got this guy. I got this guy to swing on a slider down below the zone. It was over the plate, and it was down well below the zone, probably about half of his shin up from the ground, and he fouls it off. And then Kevin Gausman says, okay, screw you. I'm going to go ahead and get you. Here is my fastest fastball of the at-bat, maybe even of the day. Let's see if you can hit it. And boy, howdy, could Joc Pederson hit it. He tomahawk missiled that thing 107 miles an hour off the bat, 402 feet right down the line, kept it fair. And it was 1-0 Rangers after 1 batter in this game. And for how many runs the Rangers have given up in the first inning, how many leadoff home runs the Rangers have given up against opposing batters, it was really nice to be on the other end of that. It was honestly, truly fantastic to be on the other end of it. Now, not the best at-bats for the rest of that inning, allowing him to get out of there under 20 pitches, facing 3 batters, striking out Langford on 4 pitches, getting Corey Seager to weakly ground out on 2 pitches, and then Nimmo lines out on the first pitch. Not a great first pitch swing up, but still the Rangers offense was bringing it. I mean, a great start for MacKenzie Gore. He gets a 1-2-3 first inning. He does not have any of the problems that the other Rangers starters have had in that first inning, including occasionally himself. He does give off a single to Ernie Clement, who will be starting at second base for the American League, because he led all vote getters in the American League at any position, more than Aaron Judge, more than Mike Trout, more than Bobby Witt Jr., because the second base is not exactly a strong crop. So alas, we will not be seeing Zeke Duran, the solution, starting at second base, but maybe he still gets in there at some other position as a super duper utility guy, which has been kind of more his role than second base this year. Anyway, gets a double play from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The Rangers start to go to work again in that second inning, but alas, they still continue to have these bad base running mistakes. Another bad base running mistake by Alejandro Ozuna. He gets rung up on what probably should have been a double, but it takes a weird bounce off of that little corner in right field in foul territory. It goes just fair over the bag and then just bloops into that little corner right there. He takes a big old turn, as he often does around first base, and he's rung up. But Jake Burger struck out. Zeke Duran didn't do much in that second inning. Another 1-2-3 inning, technically, for MacKenzie Gore in that second. And then that third inning is where the Rangers really start to go to work. A lineup by Higgy, a well-struck ball to center field. He had a great day, a multi-hit day, reached base 3 times. In this one, his OPS is up to 679, which is pretty solid for your number 8 hitter and a catcher. Then a couple of really hard-hit singles by Nicky Lopez and Joc Pederson before Wyatt Langford breaks this thing open with another fantastic plate appearance, another just monstrous home run from him. Not quite as far as he hit the one in Miami, but I really love this at bat from Wyatt Langford as well, because it was the exact same pitch that he had just swung and missed on earlier. He had not really seen the slider well from Kevin Gausman, who didn't look not sharp in this one. He wasn't great, but the Rangers really took advantage when they had some base runners early on. Later on, they did not do that, but in this one, he swings through a slider. The very first pitch down below the zone would have been right over the plate, but a really good slider by Gausman. He takes his time out. He says, okay, let me focus myself. I got runners on first and second. Surely this could be a time where the Rangers get their big hit. And then another slider right after that, not nearly as well executed. This one right at the knees in the middle of the zone, and he does not miss it. Absolutely obliterates this thing, 101.7 miles an hour off the bat. And Wyatt Langford continues his monstrous hot streak. He has been just absolutely on fire since coming back off the IL. He just hits home run after home run after home run. I mean, this has been, massive for Wyatt Langford and for this Rangers offense that just needed somebody else to come in and do something, do anything. Honestly, they just needed some oomph in this lineup, and they have gotten it from Joc Pederson, who has now homered in 3 straight games, and also Wyatt Langford, and not to mention Jake Burger, who I'll get to in just a second. But Langford, the last 7 days, has 4 home runs, where he has 8 on the season. Half his home runs have been in the last week. 6 of his 8 home runs have been in the last 2 weeks, 13 games, 6 home runs in that span. And since coming off the IL in 19 games, he is hitting .299 with a .981 OPS and 7 of his 8 home runs on the season. This guy has been absolutely on fire, and I guess that's just kind of what it takes for Wyatt Langford to get started in a season. It was the same way his rookie year, not quite as much last year, but his rookie year, the first month or so was pretty rough for him. He had a hamstring strain, then he came back in June and was the American League Rookie of the Month. He hit for the cycle in that right after coming off of the IL, and he looked absolutely fantastic. And this has been the case so far for Wyatt Langford this year. He's been a little bit more aggressive, which I've loved to see. The walk rate has been down a little bit, but the defense has been fantastic. You look at some of the underlying data, the expected batting average and expected numbers aren't particularly inspiring. The launch angle sweet spot has not been super great for him so far, but he's hitting .268 on the season. The 315 on base would probably, you'd like it to be higher, but if he's hitting this many home runs, if he's being this aggressive and having this level of success, you don't really want to change all that much. I'm sure eventually this hot streak will flame out a little bit, but I'm hoping whenever it does, he can get back and get right by working some more walks, working some more lengthy at bats. But so far he's been just an absolute revelation out there in center field. Defensively, we talk about Evan Carter starting a rehab assignment when that's happening a little bit more in the third segment. But for right now, Wyatt Langford is Rangers everyday center fielder. He is the best bat in their lineup right now. And Jake Burger also piled on all the Rangers runs scoring in this one off of the home run ball. A solo shot by Joc Pederson to start this game, a 3-run homer by Wyatt Langford. And then the Rangers were not settled. We're not content for just those 3 runs in that inning. Corey Seager works a walk. He works a couple of walks. He's back in this one. He does not get a hit in this one, goes 0 for 3, but works a couple of walks, does not strike out, and ends up scoring on the Jake Burger home run, which was one of the highest hit home runs I've seen maybe ever. A 40-degree launch angle, only got out because it was 106.7 miles an hour off the bat, went 378 feet off the bat, but was a no-doubter, a hanging splitter. He got just underneath of it, but he hit it hard enough. He hit it far enough that it went over the fence in Canada. The Rangers were up 6-0. And that was pretty much that for this game. The offense did have some hits later on. They only went 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. But if that one is a 3-run homer, a lot of times that will get the job done, especially if you got a starting pitcher who wasn't having his best stuff, but this might have been his most impressive start from MacKenzie Gore, especially if you got the best part of your bullpen rested. It would have been nice for the Rangers offense to pour on a few more runs, but it was just good to see Corey Seager back in this lineup, who had done traditionally very well against Kevin Gausman. He worked a couple of walks in this one. Not the best plate appearances, and even didn't get all that much from Brandon Nimmo in this one, but still, I mean, even though Ezekiel Duran, Corey Seager, and Brandon Nimmo combined to go 0 for 10 in this game, it didn't really matter because the Rangers were getting those big hits from the bottom of the order, from the top of the order, especially Wyatt, Langford, and Joc Pederson and Jake Burger, who continues to be red hot as well. And a big part of the reason that this Rangers offense is resurgent. He's hitting 255 on the season. Burger's got a 766 OPS. He has pulled that back up after a really rough month and a half stretch. He has been kind of quietly on fire for this Rangers offense because Joc Pederson and Wyatt Langford have been just so incredibly red hot. Even Brandon Nimmo, it's been a little bit under the radar how much Jake Burger has carried this offense in addition to Wyatt Langford and Joc Pederson. This 2-run homer was big in this one, and it was the last runs the Rangers scored. It ended up being the difference in this game because, the Rangers scored 6 runs, and they needed every single one of those 6 runs. But I'm not mad at this pitching staff for giving up 5 runs. I'll talk about why and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Cash App. It's amazing how quickly we've moved on from cash and checks. Whether it's paying friends back, buying tickets, or splitting a bill, everything now happens instantly. And with Cash App, they do more than you think when it comes to having your back and making sure your money stays your money. Cash App just released a new status program for the people that actually spend called the Cash App Green. Now, when you spend at least $500 a month with a Cash App card, you earn green status, which unlocks benefits like up to $200 of free overdraft coverage. If you overdraft unexpectedly, there are no hidden fees. You also unlock higher borrow limits and custom personalized cash back offers every Friday at places you love to shop. Turn everyday spending into status with Cash App Green. Download Cash App today or visit cashapp.com to learn more about this and other financial benefits. New Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code CashApp10 in their profile at signup and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. The show is also brought to you by Gametime. There's nothing like watching a Rangers game, and it's even better when you get to watch it live. The excitement, the fans, but the only problem is that getting tickets can feel like a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's where there's Gametime. The Gametime app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences with just a few taps. It's simple to use. The Gametime guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. And here is the best part. The fees are included in the price you see, so what you see is what you pay, period. Zone Deals let me pick the section and save even more while Gametime selects the seat for me. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Shout out to everybody making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. On Monday's show, I'll be back and talk about the rest of this 4-game set against these Toronto Blue Jays. And also, we will have you covered with Jeff Biggs in the Locked On Rangers postcast after every single game in this series. But if you want to be part of the Everydayers Club, go to LockedOnTexasRangers.supercast.com to join the Everydayers Club today. Now, the Rangers offense definitely did their job in this one. Could have provided a few more runs later on. Could have probably gotten Kevin Gausman out before going 6 innings. The Rangers got 10 hits off him and 2 walks, but alas, we're only able to score those 10 runs. Maybe could have driven that pitch count up a little bit earlier, but still, this was a good outing for this Rangers offense, and it was a good outing for MacKenzie Gore. Now, why was I so encouraged by MacKenzie Gore's start, even though he gave up 3 runs in 7 innings? Well, first off, it's a quality start. Second off, it's 7 innings, and with the Rangers being in the midst of this very long road trip without any days off, they don't get another day off until July the 3rd. So we are a week away from the Rangers' next off day. They also just placed Jack Leiter on the IL, and they're going with a quasi, bullpen-ish day, one time through the rotation out of every 5. And the Rangers just need innings. Honestly, they just need innings. And giving him 6 runs of support early on in this game, let him go to work. I mean, this was not the sharpest day for MacKenzie Gore. He very much relied primarily on that fastball. It was not a good day for his curveball. He didn't get a single swing and miss on 11 swings by the Blue Jays on that curveball, which is normally a very good swing and miss pitch. The changeup didn't get any whiffs, didn't even get a strike. He threw it 4 times, and there was no chase. There was no swings at it. It was just 4 balls. The fastball only had a 27% whiff rate on it. In this one, he only got 10 swings and misses on 19 swings, or on 52 swings by the Blue Jays in this one. But he pitched to the scoreline. 5 strikeouts for him, 2 of them coming in the final 2 batters that he faced. And he was going at guys. And that's all you can ask for a starter, especially when you've been given a lead. This is exactly what you want to see from a starting pitcher, especially on a day where he didn't really have his A stuff. He only gave up 4 hits and 1 walk. So only 5 base runners ended up, that 3 of them ended up scoring in this one. One of them was immediately raced on a double play. But this was a great outing for MacKenzie Gore because he pitched to the scoreline. When your offense gives you a whole bunch of runs, the thing that drives me the most insane about starting pitchers is when they're given a huge lead or when they are, gifted a lead, right after it, not going at the batters, especially when it's a lead of, 3, 4, 5 or more runs. You really just throw strikes, let them get themselves out. If you give up some hard contact, if you give up a solo home run here or there, that's fine. Just do not walk guys. And he only walked 1 in this one, did come around to score. But 3 of the 4 hits he had were all given up in 1 inning. A lot of those base runners all came back to back to back, got himself into a bases loaded, no outs jam, and ended up only giving up those 3 runs out of it. It didn't make it spiral and make it worse, but still it was a 3-6 ball game. And he ends up, when he leaves the ball game, and just hands it over to the best part of this Rangers pen, Jacob Junis, Jacob Latz, and they do their job. They get this one done. They get this win for the Rangers. And this is encouraging to see from MacKenzie Gore because occasionally he's been kind of a very mercurial type of pitcher in that when things are going really right, he looks like the best pitcher on the planet. But when things are going wrong, he looks absolutely untenable. And the best pitchers, the ones that get Cy Young awards, the ones that, make the All-Star team, the ones that can carry your franchise are the ones that occasionally, when they're on their best, they will look like the most dominant guy. How the heck does anybody ever get a hit off this guy? But occasionally they're going to have some starts where their stuff is not particularly great, but they work and gut through it. Think of the Colby Lewis types who, if Colby Lewis was having himself a bad day, he was always going to get you through 5 with no more than usually 3 or 4 runs given up. And with that Rangers offense back in the 2010s, that was enough to get the job done. MacKenzie Gore goes 7 innings in this one, despite his stuff not being particularly crisp. I mean, the slider was not really working all that well. The sinker, none of these pitches were working all that well, but still, he just goes at this Blue Jays offense, which has been offensively pretty challenged so far this year, and says, all right, I got a lead, so I'm going to go ahead and go at these guys. And that was incredibly encouraging to see for MacKenzie Gore, who has not really had that in his bag. He's been a guy who has had a lot of strikeouts in the past, but this is kind of that next level maturation that the Rangers were kind of hoping for from MacKenzie Gore. He's still been in the big leagues for parts of his 5th season in the big leagues. But you were hoping for a little bit more out of him than what you had gotten early on. But so far, like this is kind of what you're hoping for MacKenzie Gore. Starts like this. Not every start is going to be, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, 1 hit, and just a bunch of hopeless, ugly swings. Occasionally, you're going to have some starts where you just need to just eat some innings and go at guys. And that's exactly what he did in this one. In his last 7 starts, he's got a 3.21 ERA, 42 strikeouts in 42 innings. So averaging 6 innings per start in his last 7. That is what the Rangers need out of MacKenzie Gore. He has been one of the only pitchers really in this rotation who has not had a long history of injuries. Jack Leiter was the other one, and he just got placed on the IL. So the Rangers are counting on a lot of innings, a lot of work from MacKenzie Gore, and they got it in this one. This was a good start for MacKenzie Gore. Gets his 5th win of the season. He is working his way back to a 500 record, as are the Rangers. They're still 5 games below 500, but there's another great outing for Jacob Junis. He goes 1-2-3, does not allow a single base runner, gets a strikeout. Jacob Latz gives up a couple of hits in this one late on, and this is the first runs that he's given up in the entire month of June. He had gone 9 straight appearances without allowing a run in general. And I think part of it was honestly credit to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who had another incredibly impressive at bat in this one. Maybe not quite as impressive because it didn't end in the home run like Joc Pederson's, but another 10 plus pitch at bat, 11 pitches in this one. The 11th pitch, a 96.8 mile an hour fastball at the knees, but over the middle of the plate, and he's just late on it. One of the fastest pitches that he has thrown so far this season, the fastest pitch that he threw in this at bat, and I think on the day. but this is a great at-bat by Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and I think it's a big reason why Jacob Latz ended up giving up the home run literally right after this, threw a couple of pitches, got a swinging miss on a changeup, the first pitch of that at-bat, then missed on a four-seam fastball, then tries to throw a four-seam fastball right down the heart of the plate, and Kazuta Okamoto does not miss it. He absolutely crushes the thing to dead center field. It is a 5-6 ball game at that point, but Jacob Latz says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and lock in. I still got to get these last two batters. Gets Alejandro Kirk to ground out pretty weakly. Gets Brandon Valenzuela to take a called third strike, a fastball right down the middle. Honestly, probably should have had a called third strike a couple of pitches earlier on a fastball that looks like it was just touching the plate. Maybe the Rangers should have challenged there. They did still have one challenge. Credit to the Rangers broadcast for updating and finally adding the challenges onto the little score bug there. So now you can see exactly how many challenges each team has. It bugged me a little bit that they hadn't done it up to this point, but it's a nice addition. It's just a good thing, a good reminder to have. So I'm not having to constantly check the MLB at bat to see, okay, do the Rangers have challenges? Do they have two challenges still? Do they have one challenge still? It's just something that needs to be implemented across the entirety of Major League Baseball. The Rangers weren't the only ones that didn't have the challenges in the score bug, but it's just a nice little addition there that, especially in playoff games, that you're definitely going to need. You're definitely going to need to know exactly how many challenges each team has at each point. But this was a good win for this Ranger squad. They face off against old friend Patrick Corbin in the second game of this series, so the lineup will probably look a little bit different. I don't know if we'll see Corey Seager in it back-to-back days. Maybe we will, because it'd be good to see him just get some hits off of a guy that is very, very hittable. But this is a good Blue Jay start that the Rangers knocked around. They didn't get to this pen as much as you would kind of liked, especially after getting the starter out after giving up 6 runs in 6 innings. Simeon Woods Richardson goes the distance in this one for the Blue Jays, and the Rangers don't take advantage of working 4 walks off of him in those 3 innings. They cannot get a hit for the final 3 innings of this game, but this is a big win for this Rangers squad. Jacob Latz notches his 15th save of the season. This is now his 8th save in this month. He has been just absolutely on fire this month, and of his saves in this month, I believe more than half of them have been of the multi-inning variety, or at least more than 1 inning. He had a 2-inning save against Cleveland, his second appearance of this month. He got the job done there. No runs allowed. He had another 2-inning save against Kansas City on the 11th. That was a gutsy one that he gutted out there. Had 3 strikeouts, and that one just absolutely dominated there. Inning and a third save against Boston on the 14th, where he had a couple of strikeouts and looked fantastic there. Inning and a third against San Diego, inning against San Diego, and an inning and a third against Miami, his last time out there 3 days ago against those Marlins, to save the only game that the Rangers ended up winning in that series. But this has been an all-star worthy closer. This has been one of the best closers in the game. And although the Rangers maybe thought he would be in the rotation to start this year, him being an absolutely dominant lockdown closer is just such a nice feeling to have a guy who is rocking a 1.89 ERA at this point in the season, with 8 saves at this month, with another 6 the month before and 3 the month before that. He has just been such a welcome addition as the Rangers closer, and I don't know where the Rangers would be without Jacob Latz in the 9th inning for this team. Coming up, we're talking a little bit more about when the Rangers could expect Evan Carter back, and a little bit more about what's going on the farm. All that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by FanDuel. The biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every match feels like it has the potential for a memorable moment. One goal can completely change the energy of a game, shift momentum, and alter the outcome in an instant. That's what makes the tournament soccer so exciting, from the opening whistle until the final kick. Now FanDuel is giving fans another reason to stay locked in to every match with every goal pays. Bet on a match, get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. More goals means more bonus bets, and all you have to do is turn on your token. For this tournament, there's not been a whole lot of great goalkeeping. There's been either great goalkeeping or terrible goalkeeping. So as long as you're going for a game that's not Cape Verde and their amazing 40-year-old save or goalie, I was about to say closer, goalie who's standing on his head, there might be a lot of goals that you can pick from. I'd be looking for those matchups where both teams are aggressive offensively, because those games can really open up fast, and there's more chances being created. There's more exciting the match becomes from beginning to end, and now you get to benefit from every goal scored. From the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started down. This show is also brought to you by Hims. ED is way more common than most guys think, and millions of men deal with it at some point. HIMS offers a simple, convenient way to take care of your health by connecting you with licensed healthcare providers online and giving you access to personalized treatment options from the comfort of your home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process designed to make getting care easier. Taking care of your health shouldn't feel complicated, and HIMS makes the process private and easy to navigate. It's healthcare built around your schedule and your comfort. Between work and family and everything else going on, finding time for appointments, it can be tough. Having access to licensed providers online means you can prioritize your health without having to rearrange your entire day. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/lockedonmlb. That's hims.com/lockedonmlb for your free online visit. hims.com/lockedonmlb. Prescription required. See website for details and important safety information. Now, the Rangers offense wasn't perfect in this one, but they did enough to get the job done. And the Rangers had to do it without Josh Jung. And this one, I think the Rangers were just giving him an off day after a really rough series in Miami. He just has looked a little bit lost at the plate as of late. His timing hasn't been quite there. He looked much better in his final at bat of the last couple of days, but still it has just not been quite there for Josh Jung. So the Rangers gave him the day off in this lineup, still able to produce 6 runs without the guy who has been their best hitter overall this season in the lineup. He has now moved below both Wyatt Langford and Joc Pederson in terms of the team lead for OPS. Jung down to 792 and a 296 batting average, where Joc Pederson is leading the team at 816. Wyatt Langford trailing just behind at 806. When you hit 6 home runs in the span of 2 weeks, that really does give your OPS quite a boost. Who would have thunk it, getting that much of a boost in the last 2 weeks? This Rangers offense has been turbulent at times. Honestly, the last couple of weeks, the last month or so, it's really been significantly better, with some occasional hot streaks from Brandon Nimmo, with Josh Jung, what he was doing to carry this offense basically on his back the entire first month and a half of this season. I mean, Josh Jung was really the only one that was hitting well at all in the month of May, and he was hitting incredibly well. Ozuna piling on some base knocks here and there. It's not been the best base runner, but this Rangers offense has also figured out how to hit off lefties, with Justin Foscue being a huge welcome addition. Elias Diaz has been a huge welcome addition for this offense, and I imagine we will see Josh Jung back in this lineup on Friday against old friend. And he's better than a batting practice machine, but occasionally he can get a batting practice machine-esque in Patrick Corbin, and hopefully the Rangers can take 3 out of 4 in the series, because honestly, getting hits off of Dylan Cease right now is a very, very difficult prospect. So that Saturday game is going to be probably the toughest one that the Rangers face this weekend. But getting that first win of this series, hopefully getting out to a 2-0 series lead. And with Evo on the hill, hopefully the Rangers can just start this series off right, get themselves on maybe a winning streak, or just get themselves at least a couple wins before they have to face off against who has been monstrous so far this season in Dylan Cease, because the Rangers do not want to see Louis Varland, the closer for this Toronto Blue Jays squad, who has been just downright unbelievably good so far this season. But the Rangers could get a key bat, or I guess more key glove, back soon. And Evan Carter is starting a rehab assignment this weekend in Frisco with the Rough Riders tonight. He took batting practice yesterday before the game, and he is hoping to come back hopefully sometime pretty soon. He is dealing with a bit of an oblique strain that he dealt with after diving for a ball, making an incredible play out there in shallow center field defensively against Boston at Fenway. Just a truly exceptional play. The Rangers have been okay defensively in his stead. It's more been of a drop off in the left field, going from Wyatt Langford and his absolutely sensational defense out there to Alejandro Ozuna, who has been good at times, less good at other times, still not quite spectacular like Wyatt Langford has been so far, and especially with Wyatt Langford heating up offensively. If you move him over to left field and you get that outstanding outfield defense that you were getting early on in the season, maybe the pitching staff starts to be a little bit better because you have more run prevention by that elite defense out there. But the Rangers are really hoping to get Evan Carter back in this lineup. What the Rangers will do with their bench, I'm not entirely sure. The Rangers did have to make a move to put Corey Seager back on this roster. Unfortunately, it was Cody Freeman going on the 10-day IL with a herniated disc. It's been kind of rough for Cody Freeman so far this year. He had an injury that kept him out for the first 6 weeks of this regular season, and he was maybe going to make an opening day roster spot if not for dealing with that injury not that much before opening day. But the Rangers could really use him at some point as just a rotational guy, a 40-man roster guy to just come up and occasionally play a billion different positions and just be a very, very helpful bat in this lineup. I'm wishing the best for Cody Freeman. Don't know the exact timeline for when he's coming back. Maybe Jared Kelenic might end up being the roster casualty for bringing back Evan Carter, because we just have not seen him that much. The Rangers have had him up for about a week and a half. He's only played in 4 games. He's only had 1 hit in 7 at-bats. It's been kind of sporadic. He has only started, I believe, 2 games and come in late defensively as a pinch hitter or defensive replacement later on in games. But we'll see what the Rangers decide to do whenever they get Evan Carter back. Hopefully that is sooner as opposed to later, because even though he hasn't been great offensively, he's been occasionally helpful out there. He's provided more slug than you'd expect for Evan Carter, but the defense has been, truly special out there in center field. And it's been good to see Wyatt Langford holding it down in his step. But let's talk a little bit about the farm before we get out of here this week. There was a great story by Kennedy Landry of MLB.com on Malcolm Moore, one of the Rangers' top prospects, the Rangers' first-round pick after winning the World Series, picking 30th out of Stanford, an offense first catcher. There were some question marks about his defense. There were some question marks about his bat. After last year, his first full year in the minor leagues, he had a broken finger that really just kind of derailed his entire season. The offensive numbers were not very good. They're actually pretty bad. And I talked to a couple people who saw him in person. They said, oh boy, that is verging on not being a prospect. I believe I had him at 18 in my top 30 prospects ahead of this season. And that is with a not particularly deep or strong class. That was me, listening to the people who know more than me, who saw him more than me, who were like, I don't know what this guy is, because he's not a great defensive catcher. He's not a great hitter right now. He's not even a good hitter right now. And I was kind of out on him before this season. And he has completely changed my opinion, the opinion of a lot of different people. Kennedy Landry talked to him about what have he done differently? What has been, the key? Has there been some big mechanical adjustment? Has there been just something new that you added to your game? Because he's been fantastic defensively, catching over 30% of opposing base runners trying to steal bases on him. He started calling some games recently where the Rangers had not really let him do that as much early on in his minor league career. And he's also been hitting incredibly well. He was one of the best hitters in the entirety of the South Atlantic League. A 929 OPS with 10 home runs in 48 games as a catcher in Hub City was fantastic. In Frisco, he's played 8 games. He's got an 896 OPS, couple of home runs, 5 runs driven in, a triple and a double for him, hitting 281 in his brief time in Frisco, where he is 2 years younger than the average player in this league. Being 2 years younger than the average position player in this league as a catcher is very, very impressive. Kennedy Landry talked to him and said, okay, what has been the key? How have you unlocked being just significantly better about basically everything that you've been doing this year? And he said, I'm happier. I'm not depressed. I'm not, letting this consume me. Whereas last year, his first full year in the pros, he just had been, he didn't use the word depressed, but I'll maybe tone it back there. But he was just, overwhelmed by the sport of baseball. When baseball is a hard sport, going from college baseball to professional baseball, it is a big jump. And he did not do well. He had an injury that, he was doing well before he took that injury, that broken pinky that kept him out quite a bit of time, and just never really, got quite right after it. So he spent a lot of time at home, but mechanically there's not been he's like, I haven't changed a whole lot. I've just been, had a better headspace. I've been, I spent a lot of time with friends and family, felt very isolating, rehabbing. Like, it is a very isolating process. It can be very tough on you mentally. And so he just took a lot more time with friends and family this offseason, just remember why he loved the game. And honestly, that's great. I love to hear that. He's been working his butt off defensively. Obviously, he's gotten a lot better there. I don't know how much of it was mental side on the defense, but I think definitely he's worked a lot with, defensive coaches and all kinds of different stuff of just getting better at the little things of being a catcher. There are so many things that catchers have to learn to where, being a catcher at the big league level is very, very difficult. It's why, hitting at the big level is also very, very difficult. All those hitters have to play positions, but for a catcher, you have to be so on mentally for so much of the season. And credit to Kenley Landry for telling this story very, very well. Credit to Malcolm Moore for all the work that he has done this offseason. And I'm really glad that he's in a much better space because I hope he can stay in a good space. Keep your friends and family around you. Spend your off seasons with them. Whatever you did this offseason, and keep doing it again and again and again, because he has looked downright fantastic and changed possibly the future of what this catching position looks like for the Rangers, at least probably not this year, maybe in 2027 if you want to be pretty aggressive. I imagine he stays the rest of this year in Frisco unless he just, continues on a nuclear level heater. Maybe we see him in AAA just for a little bit of a cup of coffee at the end of the season, but I don't pencil in Malcolm Moore starting game one of a postseason series for this Ranger squad at catcher. Not this year, maybe in 2027 we see a postseason start for Malcolm Moore at catcher, but that has been very, very encouraging. And also one last bit of news on the farm before we get out of here. Sun Jung Kim, the Rangers two-way prospect in the Arizona Complex League. The Rangers signed him out of Korea as an 18-year-old with all the money that they did not spend on Roki Sasaki, or maybe not all of it, but at least a decent chunk that they did not spend on Roki Sasaki. He had not pitched so far this season. He had been just a one-way prospect. He only pitched in one game last year in the regular season for the Dominican Summer League, did end up pitching in at least one postseason game. I think it might have been two for the Dominican Summer League Red Team last year. But this year, he had not pitched. Until recently, he had not played the field. Now he has played 5 games at shortstop. He has also pitched one game with 1, 2, 3. He has not allowed a single hit or base runner in the 2 innings that he has pitched so far as a professional. He has 1 strikeout this season. He had 2 strikeouts last season in his 1 appearance of work. I'd imagine we'll see a little bit more from him on the mound going forward, probably about once a week, which is what we've seen from Josh Owens. He has pitched once a week. The other two-way player prospect in the Arizona Complex League for this Ranger squad, both of them 19 years old, both of them looking very impressive with the bat, and both of them looking pretty darn impressive with on the mound as not only great pitchers, but also great hitters, and also heard good reports about what they've done defensively at shortstop. But that's going to do it for today's episode, for this week's episodes of Locked On Rangers. Thank y'all so much for listening and subscribing. And until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.